Back on a Wednesday, people. We're back ready to rock and roll. We are a couple of days late. Again, apologies.
Hey, the
but
intro doesn't say Monday anymore.
We fixed it. We fixed
We're
it
not
because these days we're super unreliable. So
a
we're
Rogue
giving ourselves
Actions is never late, Heinzie. It arrives precisely when it means to.
when we want it to. And if you don't like that, tough. It is what it is. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Hit the sub button. We really, really appreciate it. Helps us grow this awesome channel, of course. Don't forget comments. We do check them. And someone called me up and said, hey, if Heinzie doesn't comment on this, he doesn't check them. And I responded to it. You damn well know it. So we do check them. There we go. Straight up.
Don't be that guy that comments like that.
No, that's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind people
Is
testing
like
me.
sitting there going, please comment on mine, please.
No, it's a case of, does he really comment on it? If he comments on this, then I believe him. So I went, bang. There you go, baby.
You reply to a million comments. You don't need to prove it to that dude.
It's not a proving thing. It's just if someone's willing to even acknowledge our videos and have a chat about them.
Don't let him take you to proving grounds, Heinzie.
I don't know. It's all good, mate.
No, I got you. I responded to those two.
yeah, we absolutely should. I mean, otherwise, it's we need to do that. That's our job. So it's the least we can do. If you guys get out there and have a chat, we may not always respond, but we do always have a look. Absolutely. We always keep an eye on it. And if there's something that we can respond to, we absolutely do that. Anyway, let's get down to it. Cubs,
yes,
we've got a really chat today. We've obviously talked about possible Jabba requirements, and we've had a bit of a look at the Swallow Quest review as well. We went through all that on your video. Link will be below because we're uploading this at the same time today, so we're going to have them up and running. But let's talk some GAC. I mean, GAC, of course, we're right in the middle of it now. I've got a really cool week coming up, actually. I actually have two people in my group this week, Cubs. One of them is named Yeti.
I know Yeti.
Yeah, and the other one is named this guy called Good Old Maurice.
I know him too.
Yeah, so we could be possibly having a fun week this week
awesome.
if the matchups work out the way they do. So pretty excited about this little week, actually. But let's talk about GAC, and we know they're fundamental, of course, to our crystal income and everyone's crystal income out there these days in the game, Cubs. It's super important, and it's the most fun game mode we've got. It really is. The rest of it is a real pain in the butt. So let's talk GAC, but let's specifically talk about defense. I want to talk about defense today because I know there's a couple of different ways that you can, of course, run your defense in GAC, and I'm going to I'm going to lock it down into three different styles. Let's leave it that way. So there's what they call the full D, so the full defense,
the big D,
or some people also call it the defense as well. So that's basically putting down all your big toys, putting down all your Galactic Legends and Star Killer and all that sort of stuff if you've got it. Basically filling the board with really, really OP end-game teams, which obviously if you keep a few of them but put some on defense, it puts you under a bit of pressure to take these guys down. So that's one defense. The other one is, of course, the balanced defense, where you're thinking, I want to leave enough on the board where they might trip up a little bit, but still make sure I've got enough on offense that if I need to sort of mow down a couple of teams, I have the weapons available to do that. So that's a balanced defense. That's kind of a second one. And of course, there's the efficiency defense, and that's basically hanging on to all your toys, saving them for attack, and basically trying to maximize the amount of banners in attack you get, hoping your opponent will drop a couple of battles on the other side. Those ones can be pretty sketchy sometimes. It's again a glass cannon type of approach where you go all out, but things can go sideways on your attack run. You leave yourself pretty exposed. So Cubs, I want your opinion if I can. What type of defense, firstly, do you tend to run with, and which one do you think is the most effective? Just to give us an idea, I'm curious.
So I'm gonna preface this before I answer that with there's also very different styles of GAC players. And the style of player that that doesn't necessarily line up with the kind of defense that you're using, but I think it influences what is best for you. And so I'll put it this way. People who care the most about winning, all right, and are the most committed to this game and the most invested in finding the off-meta counters, which requires a lot of work. And these are the best players in the game. In my opinion, the best kind of defense you can place is the big D FU defense. If you can pull that off, that is hands down the best strategy in this game. That's my own personal opinion. Now, I recognize that as the best strategy in my opinion, but I also know it is the worst strategy for me personally because I just, number one, don't have the kind of time to dedicate to figuring out all of those off-meta counters on that level. Now, some people might point the finger of shame at me and say, well, you should because you're a YouTuber. And I say, go watch somebody else then, because that's just not how I play the game. It's never how I've played the game. And I can make YouTube videos of it and represent that kind of player. That's fine for me. I got a little randomly defensive there. I don't know why. I can hear the comments coming before they come. Anyway, I've been doing this for like 5 years. But anyway, I prefer the fun approach for me, which is definitely more of the balance, leaning more towards offense heavy kind of approach. Because for me, if I lose 1 or 2 GACs per round, it just doesn't bother me anymore, Heinze. Yeah. And when I'm playing a round of GAC and I place too much on defense, it's just not fun for me personally, because I don't get to full clear. When I get to full clear, if I full clear somebody, I have fun playing. Maybe I lose by 10, 20 banners. All right, that sucks. I don't want to lose. I'm still sad about it, but I still enjoyed the GAC experience. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I'm getting a little long-winded about this, but that's just how I approach GAC now. I'm a lot more casual with it.
I like it. No, I agree. And again, every player style is different, as you said, because it depends on, firstly, not everyone is 100% committed to GAC. Those that are spend hours upon hours upon hours of time dedicated to, working out the defense and poking any holes and trying to exploit your opponent where possible to your own advantage to give yourself a better chance of winning. So certainly if you're end game leaderboard player, you are committing a crazy amount of hours to this. I mean, I'm sitting at, just right now as we speak, I'm sitting at like 150 on the leaderboard, Kyber 1. I've got to put some serious work in, Cubs, to work out what to expect.
And that works for you. That's the best way for you to play the game, right?
Yeah, I embrace that as a challenge.
So that is the best way. So I'm guessing you go pretty defense heavy.
Well, I think I have to. Otherwise, I'm going to get wiped off. But there have been occasions where, and this is the thing, it all comes down to your research, of course, as well, Cubs. That's key. Yes.
And I've been there. I used to research my opponents for hours.
Yeah. So there's certainly there's great bots available to us. OmegaBot, of course, is one that, checks your last 2 weeks.
OmegaBot is awesome. Yes, big shout out to OmegaBot.
You, of course, have the guys at Hotbot do some amazing work, giving you all the stats, can, expose either missing characters and or speeds, and, of course, mods and relics. So you've got a good idea on what you're going to expect. Yeah. It's still hard to gauge datacron, so go in game, check out your opponent's datacrons. Of course, that's really important to do, because that'll make the difference as to what type of defense you set. And one thing that I have done, of course, in the past is set that really, the real new defense, but then people kind of expect it when they're looking at the reports too.
Oh yeah.
So a bit of a shifty, and then throw in a light one or a mid one, and then you've got more toys because people aren't going to be prepared for that. So there is a way you can sort of work around it, bit of mind games you can call it, where a bit of a look this way, sell some candy, and then go the other direction. So there's different ways of playing it. I think the balance to heavy defense makes sense. I mean, if you can get your opponent not to get through your board, well, that takes the pressure off you in attack. Certainly, you can, drop a battle or make an error, for instance, and it's not as much of an issue. You can kind of wear it. So that certainly helps. But, the full defense is a big task. It really is a big task, especially now, since, last year when they removed a lot of the non-gel counters, Cubs, and that's the real difference. Up until now, datacrons play a huge part of it, unfortunately, and I hate the D word, you know the drill, but we have to mention them in this case because they're pretty important in GAC.
That nerf, that initial nerf is where I shifted my complete approach to GAC, because I had a lot of off-meta GL counters that were working pretty well for me, and they all basically got wiped out in that nerf. And call me lazy, call me a bad player. I didn't have the energy to figure it all out over again. And so for me, I was just like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna be more casual about this. For my own enjoyment, and that for me, Heinze, frankly, I just enjoy the game more that way. And so it's two valid approaches. You're going to enjoy the game more. That's why I carve out, like, what kind of player are you? Because the full-on Kyber 1 top 150 approach, that's really, that would be really fun as well, right? If you're in that zone. And so it really just depends on where you're at on the spectrum.
Yeah, another example actually, Cubs, is obviously, you know, we have our boy Grid, boy Gridden, of course. He built his roster solely around, you know, non-GL counters, you know, for GAC. He built his whole roster around that.
Yeah.
And then all those changes that hurt him dearly. He's had to completely, you know, revamp his roster to take these guys on. It hurt him for a long. And he's not alone. There was a lot of tuned rosters out there that had their non-GL counters just dialed in beautifully for a long time that basically was wiped overnight. And
I have never viewed GAC the same way since that nerf.
Yeah, it's certainly, you know, certainly flipped the script. It really is. But now the good thing is you get datacrons, which are kind of like cheat codes and let you do what you used to do anyway. So it is what it is.
I'm sorry, I'm a little triggered by you saying good news and datacrons in the same sentence.
I know. It's tough to say and put those together. I get it. Guys, let us know in the comments below. How do you play GSC? What level are you? Are you in Kyber? Are you in any of the other divisions? Let us know how you play your GSC defense. We'd love to know how you guys play it. And any hits and tips for anyone out there as well, for others looking through the comments. Throw them in there as well for things that we haven't covered. We really love to hear your opinion. Omicrons. Pretty cool. Omicron release has been great in comparison to the D word. Omicrons have been a really good addition to this game, Cubs. Certainly breathed some life back into teams that we haven't used for a long time or ever. Honestly, we unlocked them and then never touched them again. And they've certainly been reborn. My question to you is, as far as the Omicron releases that we've had, Cubs, which one stands out as the best release? You go, that is by far one of the best Omicron abilities they released in this game. Anything that stands out to you to give us an idea?
Yeah, I'm still going to go with There Is Much Conflict in You, Star Killer's Omicron. I mean, first, you just look at how the sheer volume of text there. I mean, obviously, just text doesn't necessarily mean anything by itself, but I mean, seriously, like, just look at how much ends up in here. Now, obviously, that gets inflated a little bit by the 3v3 condition at the end. But I have found that to be the best Omicron ability that I have personally interacted with. That said, I also don't have a ton of experience with a lot of the newer ones that have come out. So I don't know if you have any more perspective on those, if you've added some of those and found any of those to be more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as a Star Killer, I think you're on the mark. I think that one there, the conflict one, is by far the best one. I mean, you're not really going to have Star Killer unlocked. You're going to farm up that character. And honestly, if you don't slap that Omicron on, there's just no point. I mean, that's just a fundamental tool, as you know, for that character to make that work.
He'll help you with your Galactic War.
Sorry, Galactic War. What's that? What's that? I don't even remember what that is anymore.
I don't even know. Who knows?
Great. If we want to talk about maybe some fun ones, I think they've been introduced. I mean, the Wampa ones, you know, definitely been pretty.
God, I love my Wampa Omicron.
Yeah, Wampa Omicron's great. It's certainly really useful. Bit of a Swiss Army knife sort of option from time to time.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, when he does that icebreaker, just gets all that protection up, it makes him really gross. Takes out a lot of teams if they're modded correctly. Just got to make sure that you chuck a heap of tenacity on him is certainly the key to make sure that he resists all those stuns and bits and pieces.
I should really remod mine. That's a good reminder. I keep remembering that for those stuns. Yeah, we'll remod that later. Thank you.
No point out the Omicron if he hasn't got some tenacity thrown on, or grab a D word that has some tenacity on it. Either way, some of the new, I think the chapter 1 had tenacity built in it. So either way, check it all out and see what you think. But yeah, I think that's been fun. I do obviously, of course, and you know, the Tuscans are great. Again, never used them before. I think that's been pretty cool. And I know it's only 3v3, and I wish that was in 5v5 as well, because you know we use a lot of teams, you know, like with unders, right? You know, we use solo characters in 5v5 GAC all the time.
Yeah, why not let it be a 3v3 and 5v5 gig?
Why? I mean, you get a bit more value out of that character. I mean, if people want to use 3v3, activate the Omicron in there. I don't see why it needs to be separated to just 3v3. I get it's a 3v3 lineup and it makes sense because it fits the slots, but I think that it should be available across the whole of GAC in 5v5. And if you decide you want to use him as an unders team, you know, as an underscore team, or even throw something else in there, you've got the option to do that. I think it limits the ability of that Omicron, which is a little bit frustrating because you're just not getting the value for the Omicron. They're not cheap to get. They're not easy to get. So yeah, I think that there are probably some standouts that I've found that I think are really, you know, really enjoyable. First Order TIE Pilot is another one that's popped up well.
Oh, yeah,
So the
that's
first
a
sort
great
of type
addition.
pilot's a good one. I mean, in many cases, if you mod him correctly, he'll take out Starkiller. They won't get a turn. Yep. So you can just zero in on him and just wreck him. So first sort of TIE pilot is definitely one that is really, really impressive. But yeah, of course there'll be more to come. But they're just three that I can think of that I think, they had fun with that. I'm enjoying those. I'm enjoying those Omicrons. I use them consistently. They're a bit of fun in a lot of occasions as well. And there's this crazy idea, Cubs, that something could actually be fun, right, in this game. Like, it's crazy. And it's a horrible thing to say, but it's true.
I've been having a lot of fun lately playing this game, honestly.
Yeah. So, I mean, we should be having fun. It's a game, and I mean, they certainly helped us. And then, of course, the D words brought them back again. So, anyway, it is what it is. But
I just ignore them. Still ignoring them.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below, guys, which Omicron do you like the best? We'd love to hear from you guys. Which one is a standout for you? Which one have you gone, yes, you nailed that, CG? Let's give them some positive stuff for change, because we want more of these and less of the other things. So, guys, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. All right, here we go. Viewers' choice question, Cubs. Every single week, guys, of course, go to the link below. Hit the link tree. Of course, there's a link to our Discord server. Jump in there. And there's a channel called Rogue Actions Questions. Pop your question in there. I take them from there every single week. Get them in there. And if they're good, we'll ask them. It's pretty damn simple. Question for this week is from Bevel. Bevel, I think it's Bevel Limelisk. Thank you for your question this week, mate. And the question is this. Do you think Gear 2.0 fix will address Chirotechs?
No.
They were released at Gear 12 finishes, then they were needed for GLs, but however, every marquee starts needing them at Gear 9. So the demand has grown dramatically, but the rate to obtain them has not changed. Yep. So definitely a problem.
I agree, and I absolutely think that Kairos would be the number one thing I would want them to address, and it's the last thing I think they will address.
It's the new Carbonti. And I've found lately a lot of the characters that we got to farm up are Carbonti heavy again as well, on a side note. But it's really, really crazy stuff. I know that a few people have had a heap of Carbontis and, they just have zero left. But Kairos, they've always been a tricky one, haven't they? We need so many of them from Gear 9 just to get to Gear 12.
But the thing is, Heinz, this is an engineered gear crunch.
Oh, absolutely.
They engineered it this way. When they released Kairos, however long ago it was, a couple of years ago, That's the most recent thing that they've done, really. I mean, the gear-wise. I guess you can include relics and stuff in that conversation, but clearly they want that to be a crunch, and so they're not going to alleviate the crunch that they designed. They're going to alleviate other crunches, I think.
Absolutely, the things that aren't as much needed today, of course. Yeah. And this is the thing. I mean, you mentioned relics. At least relics. They have been, again, very much like Omicrons. They've certainly made characters and teams really great and effective again. Yes, we know that there are requirements for other parts in the game, but I think that, but when everything was Gear 12 before the relics kicked in, I think it really lifted a lot of teams that we weren't really using before. And I think that that's been a bonus because we get to use more of our toys. Kairos, as you said, is the gear gate. It's been really, really rough. And they eased up, Carbontis and stun guns a little while ago in the first gear upgrade. Yep. Then gone, stuff that, we don't care. Here's Kairos, deal with that. We're back to where we were. And that was certainly the disappointing thing. So we're at the point now where we're that far along with enough characters that need Kairos, people can just not catch up. Doesn't matter how much they wail. They're always going to be behind on them. So a couple of extra Kairos thrown in here and there, I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed. And I think it could be a shot in the arm the community would be happier about. And just alleviate all the negative stuff. There's a lot of it, but it's going to help a little bit, right? Just a little bit.
A little bit. I expect the things that I really want to see them address with this. We've already covered this, but it's just the crunch of the right pieces on the Gear 12. If they only address that would be enough for me, frankly, depending on what they did.
Yeah, got to be an easier way to get from Gear 12 to Gear 13. End of story. However that is, it just needs to be a lot easier than it currently is. Yep. We're at that point now. Absolutely. So let us know, guys, in the comments below what you guys think. Are we on the right track? Should we make Kairos easier? Everyone's going to say yes. But what else do you want to talk about?
Maybe ask, do you think they will? Do you think they would touch? Because I could be wrong. Maybe they would touch Kairos.
Yeah.
I would love it if they did.
No. Yeah.
Surprise me. I dare you.
Yeah. I double dare you.
I triple dog dare you.
I infinity dare you. It's crazy stuff, guys. It's been great. Cubs, always a wonderful chat, mate. Again, sorry, guys, we're a little bit later in the week, but hey, better late than never. So we just had some real life stuff going on. Couldn't quite get there this week on time, but enjoy the vid. I hope you guys liked it. And yeah, please comment because we do check them. It's really, really important. So have a great week. Enjoy your GSC, guys. Cubs, have a great one, mate. Good luck with it all. You'll be streaming, of course, this week. Yeah, we'll have you up and about, brother. Good luck.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys. Bye.